what are the smartest Irish companies that are here in Ireland, but with a really strong and vibrant international presence? What are they doing? What are they doing both to continue to sustain their growth in these new markets, but also to make sure that they can stay here in Ireland? And that might not be the best economic decision to make, but that's often one that people who are, especially Irish entrepreneurs, are really committed to making. So what are the smart guys doing, basically, and what should, if you're thinking about starting your company, what should you kind of be baking into the process from day one?
Yeah, so I can give like a case study. So one of our portfolio companies is a company called Log Entries. It is a spin out of UCD Research. And it was these two founders, Trevor and William. They met here in Dublin, started working on kind of the core technology of their product here in Dublin. It is by all means a Dublin-founded company. But what Trevor, kind of the more commercial of the two co-founders, realized is like the end goal for that company is the US. That's where their market is. That's where we're going to make all the big enterprise sales. And so literally kind of within 6 months of company formation, Trevor was out in the States like for like 3 weeks every quarter almost. Like he was literally just hitting the ground, building relationships, even though he didn't know exactly where they were going to move, if they were going to move, when they were going to move. He just knew that he had to build those relationships with customers, with investors, with partners. And then kind of, like after raising their kind of seed round, they started an office in Boston. But they kept, what I think is really important here is keeping like the Irish, to talk about kind of building the Irish brand. They kept their R&D here in Ireland because that's where all their engineering strength is. And so now they have this really amazing story when they talk to investors. We're Dublin founded and our R&D is in Dublin. But our salespeople, our commercial folks are in Boston because that's where our customers are. So I think it's kind of knowing what your strength is, and in this case, knowing that Ireland is a great place and a cheap place to hire engineers, but knowing that your customers and your partners are probably 75% of the time, if you're an enterprise software anyways, it's going to be in the States. And so that was a really compelling story of this founder who understood what the strengths of this company were, but also where the future of that company was, and that's in the US. And being in Boston was a great decision because that's where they met Rapid7, who just acquired them for $68 million. Like, that's a great win for Irish tech and for Log Entries.
No, I'm glad there's an example like that because I would say it's quite an extraordinary example in the sense that the entire process, in my view, defies the logic and the gravity of the Irish marketplace. The engineers in this marketplace are excruciatingly expensive, and the quality of them is not necessarily fantastic. And we know that because all the multinationals are bringing engineers from abroad into Ireland in droves, especially in the tech sector itself, engineering, on the software engineering side. In the meantime, we do know that we're actually very good at sales and marketing. What distinguishes to me actually all of those companies, okay, is that they all rely on international human capital. And integrating international human capital is a big advantage in Ireland. We're good at that in terms of actually being able to take in low-end human capital from abroad, bring them in here, put them in the positions, employ them. We're open at that. But where these companies distinguish themselves is that they don't differentiate that part of the human capital from the indigenous human capital. So as a result of that, their decision makers include foreign staff as well. And the promotion and the career opportunities present for it. So as a result of that, their workers stay and don't jump to the multinationals because they know they can grow. And as a result of that, they are able to afford them a little bit cheaper in earlier stages because the cost is there very high. One of the things that we've been always campaigning here for a number of years, since 2004 now, since it was repealed, is the incentivization of the key employees through the share ownership options and plans for the employees. And unfortunately, the government is completely not paying any attention to any conversation about that. But it's crucial that you actually create a career environment which is mobile and rewarding for these people because you're going to be competing with the multinationals for the key talent.